Hi, I'm Gia Mills and I've been a celebrity makeup artist for the past 20 years. I'm also the founder of sweat-friendly cosmetics brand Skin in Motion, and I am absolutely fascinated by the power of makeup and the politics of beauty. And that is why we started True Reflections. So who have I got on today? Today, my guest knows how to make food simple, thank goodness. So bringing together how cooking can affect your beauty. I'm delighted to welcome a true beauty to True Reflections, Mandy Miller Simmonds, better known as Simply Food by Mandy, as she releases her new book, Simply Dinners. Mandy, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And first of all, I love always asking people a bit about their sort of beauty routine. What are you wearing today on your face?
So I have Pillow Talk eyeliner, Pillow Talk eyeshadow. I've got, because I lost my brows to the 90s. I do everything to try and get some texture back, and I have. I found it on TikTok, so I just quickly put it in my basket for about 10 quid, and it just kind of keeps them up in place.
I love it.
Because they just don't do anything anymore. I have a little bit of Benefit bronzer. I have your concealer,
Yes, the Blended Concealer.
which works really well because it's lovely and sheer. And I have a Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter on my
That
face.
is lovely. And your lips, you've got a lovely little tiny...
I have your lip balm as well.
Yes. Oh, lovely.
Which has just got a lovely tint because I don't like anything too dramatic on my lips.
I think as we get, increasing in years, one just likes to par it back and not have to too much, because then it just enhances without looking too overly heavy.
Yeah, I'd rather go heavy on the eyes and then have something quite subtle on my lips.
Because yes, it's always like whether you go a low top and a short skirt, you like to do one or the other. You can't do eyes and lips, because then it just looks a bit too overwhelming. But going back, so growing up, what did makeup look like? What makeup products did you love growing up?
Well, I think my first experience was being really young and just opening up my mum's makeup bag, and there wasn't a lot in there. I don't think she wore any foundation. There was definitely a set powder, some blue eyeshadow, blue mascara, which just looked horrendous. But I tried it all on, everything on my face, and I used to play around with that. So that was probably my first experience. Yeah. And then later on, if I fast forward a few years, I was at a stage school. And so we all kind of went to town with makeup a bit more.
So you were a dancer.
I was a dancer. And so, yeah, I did 3 years at a performing arts college. And some of the teachers actually would tell us off if we didn't have a full face of makeup on.
Did they show you how to put it on?
Well, at that point, no. But later on, we did have a professional come in and show us how to do stage makeup, which I loved. Because until then, I think people were still doing the 2 lines here. Do you remember? With the little ballet buns, and it just looked awful. And so this was the first experience I had with blending.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like the darkest brown in the... I probably
socket.
don't do my makeup that different now, but it was in the sockets. But it was actually quite powerful because from a distance it looked quite good, bright red. I don't think blush or anything existed then. It was just literally kind of like a pan stick. Yeah. Eyebrows we didn't even think about.
Those really heavy foundations which is great on stage, and good if you're putting it on in the dark. Really good if you're putting it on in the dark, but not so good when you're in sort of summer heat daylight.
No,
someone can really see your face.
Your skin couldn't breathe at all, and you just had this kind of like one tone, shiny color. I don't even think I put any powder on afterwards, but it was always heavy on the eyes. And
but I think what's so interesting now is where when we were younger, where we learned, because the girls nowadays, it is absolutely incredible. The young girls, they learn. I mean, I watch all the stuff online, the Eldridges and people, are sort of my age-ish, how they're doing it. But the young girls, their makeup is flawless.
I know.
They're so lucky. I don't think they know how lucky they are.
Oh, no, so apart from this one lady physically coming into our school to show us, it was just learnt from your friends.
Yeah.
Magazines. Yes, exactly that. So, you definitely didn't evolve like they do now. No. It's so useful now, isn't it?
And there weren't so many products.
No, there weren't. You had Rimmel number 17.
Yeah.
What else? I can't really remember. I just used to go to Boots, and that's what they were.
Maybe your mother would take you to Clinique, and it was a real treat to get. If you got Clinique products.
I don't think I knew about that till much later on, actually.
Yeah. It was just, but now like young girls are getting so into not only the there's so much choice in makeup and they want the expensive skincare.
Yeah.
And they're delving far too much into all the sort of treatmenty things. What's
I
your
know.
thoughts on that?
It's horrendous. I mean, it just wouldn't even, well, it didn't really exist then. I mean, my only exposure to that was when I was working in America, which was probably when I was 19. These women just looked weird and everyone had a pair of stick-on boobs. And but that just wasn't over here then. So we're talking 94-ish then. But no, I mean, I think it's horrendous. I do actually think it's horrendous because, yes, we all want to make the best of ourselves and makeup really helps with that. But now everybody looks the same with
it's very
similar,
homogenous, isn't it?
cheekbones,
Big
lips, a chin, and a chiseled jaw that doesn't always look that good. I mean, obviously some people do look brilliant, but I think it's quite sad. But they're so young.
It's accepting, and if you're allowing people to change themselves, it's extraordinary. But I guess, did you ever have so brilliant that you couldn't do all the sort of cosmetic stuff when you were younger? Any fails? Anything that went wrong?
Oh, probably plenty, but one that comes to mind is a time where I must have still been at primary school, and I was singing in this church choir. God knows why, because I wasn't really a singer. But I know why. My mum wanted me to get into this, probably shouldn't say this, get into this Church of England school, and you had to go to church, and we didn't go to church. So this was another tick in the box. So that's why I was doing that. Anyway, I was having a bath in the morning, and my mum had left this little razor on the side, a little orange Bic razor.
Oh God!
And at that time I had really good eyebrows, although I didn't think that they were good at that point. And I thought, I'll just try and I'll tidy those up. I'll give it a little bit of an arch, because that was the thing. Yeah, with the razor, with the disposable razor. And so anyway, I kind of started, and then I thought, well, I better keep going. And then it was so bad, I thought, well, I'll just take it all off, and then I'll root around my mum's makeup bag. But she was still wearing navy blue. It was navy blue rather than royal blue. And I thought, right, I'll just draw that on, and then nobody will know. My mum won't know I touched a razor, and I can sing in the church choir.
How old were you?
I mean, I must have been 10,
Oh,
maybe less.
you.
I know, really young.
Shaving your eyebrows.
Yeah, and I was such a good girl. I was very quiet. I never got into trouble, so I thought I was going to get into so much trouble. I was palpitating. So my mum said, Mandy, are you ready? And I came downstairs, and I just went, yes. What on earth have you done?
Oh my gosh.
And anyway, I had enough hair to try and kind of cover it up for the wedding, and I did sing in the wedding. I don't remember anything more.
It's absolutely amazing. I love asking people what their fails are, because everybody has got a few things growing up that you're like, I'll never do that again.
No,
it almost stays with you.
No, I know.
That you still think about.
It's haunted. And it took a while for that to grow back.
I remember a Bic razor. I learnt the hard way about not having rusty Bic orange razors, because I remember shaving my legs. I was quite hairy growing up, and I was always paranoid about sort of hair on my legs, and I shaved, and it was rusty, and I got these lines of cuts all the way up both my legs.
Oh, that's
I
red.
And I literally had these sort of stripes of they were just bleeding all over my legs. And it was like, never again, a rusty razor, always check. Because if you're young and you don't know, we all make mistakes.
No, easily done.
But we're still there to tell the tale.
We are. And you didn't have to have a tetanus shot or anything like that.
Oh, that's a good point. No, I'm still here to tell the tale. Long time ago. But then obviously you got into cooking.
Yes.
And so obviously one's makeup evolves again when you're having to go onto social media all the time.
Yes. And actually, I think the performer in me doesn't feel the part if I'm filming something in my kitchen for a reel or something like that. Look, don't get me wrong. I cook all the time in some kind of tracksuit bottom, no makeup. But if I'm going to come on camera, I feel the part. I feel like I can get going. I do. And also, as you know, if I was to just talk to camera, I would just look awful, and I just wouldn't feel good about myself. So I do. I have a little regime, and I might have something in the oven, then I run upstairs and sort myself out.
I think it's funny because when I think people have to do social media, there's that panic of getting ready. Of what am I wearing? Does this look nice? And phone cameras. Do you do your film?
I do it on a phone. Yes.
It's not always that flattering.
No. Well, no. It
can distort.
It can distort, but you kind of learn the angles, and
How do you do that? Well, tell me about and how do you set it up to?
Well, I know that there are certain areas that I will not record myself because the light's coming in from the side, and you know, I'm 50 now, so you see everything. But I have one window that works really well where I can prop up a phone, and the light's just naturally good, so it doesn't cast a shadow and show my eye bag. So I do a lot of talking to camera there.
Yeah.
But as far as actually filming a recipe, I try and do different angles, but natural light near a window. There are lots of little takes. So
I think it is hard because then you rewatch it, and I think we've all become such curators of our own how we look, and we have control over it. I think when someone else is taking pictures, you're like, oh, what do I look like? Oh,
I know.
There's panic, I think.
Yeah. So you're confident. I feel confident doing them myself, but I probably wouldn't feel as at ease if somebody else was in control of it.
Yeah. But I think also what I love about your social media is it's very authentic and it feels real. And I think we were talking earlier about how important it is to look real, to look, you know, to be fallible, to not be too perfect when you're filming.
100%. I think my audience they're really. They're a complete range of different people, but the key thing is it's just got to be achievable. It's got to be something that we do put into our shopping basket. It's got to be something that you could kind of throw on the table after however many school runs or activities or a busy day at work. So the minute if I try to make it too intricate and out of reach, then they'd all switch off.
Yeah, and just the manner that you have on the social is brilliant, which kind of then nicely leads us on to your new book, which is coming out. I'm going to be holding it up if you're listening. Simply Dinners. First of all, I love your makeup on the front cover, and I love your frilly top. We were talking
love
about
a frilly top,
and you just look absolutely gorgeous and fresh. And it's like, oh, if I eat the food, will I look as fresh and healthy as that? But food-wise, but recipe-wise, talk me through what inspired you about this book and how you kind of came to the Simply range.
So I think actually the hardest part of writing a book is coming up with the title, because it's got to kind of literally tell you what it does inside. And for me, that was hard. Now I can come up with recipes easily. I can write one just there. I don't struggle with that. It's just so, but the words for me were the hardest thing. So once we established the title, I thought it's got to be a reflection of what I post on my social media page. We can't go off piece. We can't start using this. It has to be what the followers want.
Yeah.
And you've got to listen to your audience. So I did a couple of surveys actually with them. What would they like? Hypothetical little polls. And then I just suddenly thought they are simple dinners. So it was simple dinners, simply dinners. I just thought that's going to be it. So once I had the title, and then it was just find the chapters. And once I could write that, I knew actually what I wanted it to be, because your audience tells you what they like and what they don't. Not horribly, but you just know. And you know when people message you saying, 500 of them have tried the Thai chicken tray bake, you're onto a winner. So you stick with that. So it's got to be minimal prep, minimal washing up, or time saving, something like that. And something hopefully the whole family will eat. Or you could adapt little portions for young kids, like taking the chili out of it, or I don't know. It's just making it work for your family, and there are little tweaks in most of the recipes that will make it work for.
Because I've already been trying it out. I've got this book at home. It's already got sort of splashes of food on it, which I love.
Brilliant.
Cookery books that kind of have are lived in. But what I love about it most is you've got little hacks in there, and it's got like great things like lemons. You can put them in the microwave, and that gets them more juicy, so you get more out of them. And all those little hints about how to get the skin off garlic and those little hacks I absolutely love.
They're just really useful hard. Because I think the thing is it's very easy for me to take for granted that the knowledge I have, and that might still seem like a very simple thing to say, but a lot of people may already know those things, but so many people won't. So I just want it to be useful.
Yeah. No, it was great. And it was things like putting herbs, mixing it with, what do you mix it with something and then put it in the freezer?
Olive oil. Because often, once you've opened a pack of herbs, they literally die within probably 30 minutes. There are other options. You could pop them in a little plant, in a little cup with water and put them in the fridge, but some do and don't work. But if you've got loads and you've already chopped them up, mix them with a little bit of oil, And then you've just got something you can use or add to a dressing here and there, just enough.
It's all these
Yeah.
these little hacks that's what I loved. I love the recipes, but that was like, that is absolutely brilliant. And the other thing I thought was really interesting, because people have different brains, and my brain, when I read recipe books and have to follow it, it sort of scrambles and it gets really stressed.
Yeah.
Whereas what's great is that you've got the book and then you've got the social media, so you can see a recipe you like, and a lot of them you've done on social, so you can watch the quick way to do it. So
Yes.
you've got those two areas.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That means that the cooking, your brain just, I can compute really well how to
Because
prepare
so many
meals.
people are visual, and words just on a page can sometimes feel daunting, and I totally understand that. I mean, I don't follow recipes often. I see something, I get inspired, and then I do my version of it. But if there's a load of text on there, so one of the main things when I was speaking to the publishers, I just said I want there to be lots of white space. I don't want it to be too wordy. I don't want there to be a massive list of ingredients, because it just puts people off, everyone. So yeah, but also, you're so right, because a lot of people are visual learners, so seeing it then just kind of it just helps you know that that's going to be a simple one to make.
Yeah, and I think it is. I'm not a big cook, as in I get scared by it, and it really
And I understand
me. And
totally.
and it's all so simple. All the things
Yeah,
you've got,
they are so simple.
real sort of crowd pleasers.
Yeah.
And there's no complication. And so when I'm cooking, I get really hot and sweaty. Do you have before people turn up, from a beauty point of view, do you have anything where you're like, you rush upstairs, just sort of do a little check, or are people turning up when you're still mid-cook?
So if I have got people around, I will not do anything complicated.
Yeah.
I just actually think it puts people at ease,
Yeah.
because I think when I was back in that dinner party phase when the kids were younger, it could get a little bit competitive. And it's ridiculous, people making sourdough bread that's been proven for God knows how long. And then the next person that's got a host, it just makes them feel, oh my God, the pressure, it's real. It's just horrendous. So I will probably do something that could be made in advance and possibly warmed up. My go-to for me is I very easily knock out a steak or a côte de bœuf or something like that with friends, but I've cooked it a million times. So I always say to people, if you're a tentative cook and you're worried about doing things, don't make sure you've got loads of things done in advance, and don't rely on cooking everything at the last minute, because there's nothing worse than chatting to people and trying to cook at the same time. It's quite hard. Really hard. Yeah, and the pressure's on, and they're watching you, and they might be a cook. So I'll have most of it prepped. Might kind of like whiz together a little salad at the end. But no, I just don't make it complicated. So normally I will probably do all the prep with no makeup on, and then have a shower, put some makeup on.
Because it's sort of the worst thing, because you have to. I think I put so much stress on myself, because it's like, okay, got to do the table, got to get all the food ready. Oh my gosh, I've got to go and get ready, because guys don't really have that. It's like, you can turn up and I'm in my old t-shirt and I'm looking fine.
I know.
Like women, we feel the pressure to suddenly be like the perfect homemaker. So the food's delicious, the house looks nice, I look nice, and it's all this pressure to kind of get
really hard work.
It is.
I mean, I find Christmas stressful, and I find it particularly stressful now that I'm on my own. I've got two boys that actually this year I said to my eldest son, he's 22, and he's actually not a bad cook, and he's just kind of got that instinct, he gets it, and he's a visual learner. So I said, right, I'm going to send you two videos. There's Jamie Oliver, 2 ways on how to carve a turkey. I said, because that is the most stressful thing at the end for me, because I'm doing this, I'm doing the roast potatoes, I've got this, my mum's over there, my auntie's over there, and I can't do it. And everyone else obviously tops themselves up with wine. That's the rule in my house. I can't do it all. Just help yourself if you need it. And he said, all right. So it was Christmas Eve, and I said, have you looked at how to carve a turkey? Yeah, I'll do it in the morning. Oh, please look. Anyway, he did. He knocked it out, but it was just so much easier because there was someone else helping. But if you're entertaining on your own and it's not natural to you, then that's really hard and it's really stressful.
I just, by the end, by the time everyone's left, I'm literally like, my brain.
It's exhausted.
And it's the brain, it's the overstimulation. You have everyone talking to you.
It's
you're
so
trying
hard.
to work out what you're cooking. And so you've got about 10 things going on in your head at the same time.
Yeah.
And then trying to go, how am I forget how I'm looking. And so it's like in these different things. And everyone who turns up is like, hi, I look all glamorous. I'm like, okay. But I always manage to just about organise it so I can go up, can do that last minute beautify, because it just, we do feel pressure as women, I think.
Absolutely, but also you want to look, if somebody else has made the effort, you want to look good. You want to look like you've got it together, don't you?
And do you have any when you're cooking? Is it from a clothing point of view? Like, I don't wear white. I only wear, do you put an apron on?
I'm really bad with an apron. My mum tells me off. And actually, when I was doing the recipes for the photo shoot, my friend said, I just can't believe you're cooking in that. But so I'm really naughty. But I did have a white top on the other day, and I was pouring something that was just deadly for it. And I thought, no, that was silly. So I do think about it.
Yeah. But shooting these cookery books, because they always look so flawless.
Oh my gosh, that's hard.
What's that process like? Did you have a makeup artist for your
No,
shoot?
so this is a fairly small publisher, and I had a photographer, and we did it in my kitchen. And one of my very good friends, Lou, who I've known for a long time since our kids were little, she is really artistic. She totally knows me. She's a good home cook. And she came and she helped me, and we did 10 recipes a day for 8 days. Is that right? Yeah, 80 recipes.
So that's 10 recipes.
It was full on.
Is that per hour you have to do a prep?
I mean, it was we just went with it and we just thought, well, let's see where we go. But I obviously had to have a plan because I had to get all the food in. Now, that blew my mind, ordering the food. But also, I've got quite a good kitchen, and I've got a very big fridge. And I have a spare one down in my basement from, I can't remember, I think the boys have put Cokes and stuff in there. But I couldn't get my head around it, but I did manage it. So we had a plan.
How am I looking whilst you're doing all the cooking?
Yeah, well, I did not bother with me. The photographer said, should we do it? And I said, no, I'm just doing that on a separate day. I can't.
Your front cover, you look absolutely lovely.
I was not cooking that. I did cook that day and one other day.
So that was all sort of the prep, and then the other one's in here. So all the sort of the food that's in here, that's all you and your mate putting that together.
Yeah.
I always love hearing about this, because you always think that they're home.
Well, they are normally, but on my project, I was.
Well, I think that's brilliant. Actually.
Yeah.
And then there's some really nice, because I obviously picked this up and looked straight at, doesn't her makeup look nice? And there's your pillow talk.
It is
you
pillow
can see
talk.
That slightly warm. Yeah. It's very distinctive, the pillow.
Well, I think when you're blonde and then I've kind of got greeny brown eyes, it's kind of softer than black. I used to go for it with black coal, but
we've got lovely large eyes, so you can get away with wearing a lot of dark. Sorry, I was just touching my microphone. And what's your lipstick there? That's a lovely corally colour.
I don't know whether that's been changed.
The feet touching bit.
Yeah, I it's probably something, I don't know, either the Nivea, Vaseline.
Well, it can change in different lights.
Yeah, I think so, and also the paper that it's printed on. Yeah, looks slightly different.
I used to do a lot of Hello magazine.
Yeah,
and years ago they had really weird paper and ink. So you do a really nice shoot. You look at the monitor the photographer had, and it's like, wow, that looks great. And then you see it in the magazine, and you'll be like, she looks awful.
Oh gosh, that's disappointing.
And I think it was the ink and the paper that they used. It's got better now. Sure. But I used to dread them coming out because you try and sort of pre-plan so they look weird in real life and know what it would come out like on the paper. So there's all these things.
Gosh, you have to know so much, don't you?
Well, yes, but I guess it's like cooking.
Well, that's new to me. I mean, but I mean, I know, because I do it on my phone, you can kind of see it there and then, and you can tweak it slightly with the editing. But I don't know about makeup or editing going to print. So,
but it can change a little bit. But what do you think about those apps? That we can get to tweak our appearance.
Oh yeah, I think that you can look really weird, and everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
I have tried them, but it just doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
And
you can get ones that slightly smooth your skin.
Yeah.
I think what's permissible is if you take a photograph and it doesn't look like real life.
Yes.
I think that's my rule. If I take a photograph from me or take a picture of someone's makeup I've done or friends, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's not looking like they actually do in real life, then I just try and get it to where it is in real life. Because sometimes the cameras aren't as flattering as
yes, that's true. No, I think you should do that. And I also think it wouldn't do me any favours doing things like that, because my audience are kind of my age. I mean, they vary, but I am 50 and just, it's just kind of go with it a bit.
But gorgeous at 50.
Thank you.
And obviously you're eating, good nutrition also really helps with helping one look glowing and gorgeous like you are.
Well, I mean, I do eat a well-balanced diet. It's just kind of a little bit of everything. But if you look at those recipes, they are really well balanced. They're not carb. I mean, some of them are carb heavy, but they've just got a bit of everything, and they are quite nutritious. So yeah,
So true. Good nutrition does make you look better.
it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute there was a while ago, I just thought I need chocolate, and there was just the kind of chocolate that I don't like, and it was some kind of really sugary dairy milk thing. I didn't enjoy it, but my stomach actually hurt afterwards. It just doesn't make me feel good. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I still go and have those.
Yeah, the naughty days.
Yeah, definitely. But
when I'm eating well, I do find that I look better. People say, "Oh,
you do look better.
Eyes are brighter.
You look hydrated. It makes all the difference."
Yeah, so I think there's a lot to be said when people sort of say, "Oh, what makeup? How do I look good?" I'm like, actually, what's more important is what are you putting in your body?
I think
how much
so.
sleep are you getting?
Yes.
How much fun are you having? And are you exercising? If you're doing all those things, then the makeup just helps enhance that.
100%. I mean, I know if I've drunk the good part of a bottle of wine, if not more, then the next day my eyes, the bags underneath are just horrendous.
There's a brand called Solista, and they do the most incredible face masks. They've this biocellulose stuff.
I need this.
You put them on. Anyone that's hungover, if I'm doing their makeup, I put it on. It takes down the swelling. It just plumps, hydrates the skin.
Oh, I need these.
I know. And then suddenly you look better. And I'm like, I've always got them in my makeup kit, and I will bring one out if I'm hungover, because the older you get, the worse.
Yes.
But the trick I heard from Katie Brindle, who's that wonderful Chinese medicine lady, if you stand under a shower with cold water on the back of your neck for about a minute, probably 30 seconds, it's agony. The blood going up to your brain, it just helps stimulate. And putting your face, I always put the face under every morning with a cold shower at the end and on the face, and it takes the swelling down. That's my top.
No, these are good tips. we need those, because it really does. It's not pretty at all.
Still lower alcohol, more good food.
Yes, yeah, lots of water. I have in recent years, so about a year and a half, the collagen powder, Ancient and Brave. I don't know whether but it makes me feel a bit better. But the thing I've noticed the most in the last couple of years, it's literally like clockwork. My skin is everything's so dry. And
it's hormones. But I had a test on something the other day, and my collagen is depleted, and they were telling me things to do.
Okay.
That's why, and collagen doesn't stay, so you've got to keep adding it. And I think there's some really good ones out there, and lots of people swear by them.
Yes.
And I think generally, as long as you're using a good formula, it can help give you that sort of plumper skin.
Hopefully.
Well, Mandy, it's so lovely to meet you.
And lovely to meet you too.
I've really loved reading your book, and I know that people, Simply Dinners, it is simple, and I think you've done a brilliant job at.
Well, I'm glad you agree.
Decomplicating. Massive thank you to Mandy Miller Simmonds. You can get her book Simply Dinners out now, so hurry. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe where you're watching or listening, or you can find me across your social media by searching @True Reflections Podcast. I'll be back next week with another celebrity to talk through their beauty experiences, their favourite products, and delving deeper into how the ideals of beauty shapes not just our physical appearance, but the core of our identities. Until then, have a lovely week.